So I'm feeling a bit controversial right now, so I'm going to talk about the one thing that divides people more than anything else in the entire world. Superheroes. Specifically, I'm going to try to convince you that Ultraman is a better hero than Superman. Reason 1. The design. While Superman's design is iconic in its simplicity, it might be a little too simple. The fact that an alien from Krypton just happens to look like a farm boy from Kansas kind of breaks the immersion if you think about it too hard. In contrast, Ultraman's design is completely extraterrestrial while also being unique, heroic, and just as iconic to the Japanese as Superman's design is in America. Tol Narita designed Ultraman to be the incarnation of truth, justice, and beauty, with red to symbolize Mars and silver to evoke a rocket ship, to make him feel truly interstellar. And this design really sells that concept. Reason 2. Adaptation. So you may or may not have heard some of the hubbub around the difference between comic Superman, Zack Snyder's Superman, and James Gunn's Superman. Ultraman doesn't really have that problem. Clark Kent is the only Superman, but Shin Hayata is not the only Ultraman. So not every Ultraman has to be like Shin Hayata. Most Ultraman adaptations are different individuals from the same species as Ultraman, allowing them to loosely adapt the original while still expressing a unique identity. Of course, Ultraman has core principles, such as a love of humanity and virtue, but there's so much you can do around that concept. On one hand, you can have this goofy, somewhat lazy teenager inherit the power of the big bad of his universe, while on the other hand, you have a war-scarred veteran chosen by Ultraman to be his host, who views his role as a punishment rather than a privilege. I think Superman tried something like this in the 90s when they had several people trying to take the mantle of Superman after Clark's supposed death, but it clearly never got off the ground. Clark is the only Superman. Reason 3. How they relate to humanity. If Superman wasn't basically human to begin with, he was forced to become one when he crash-landed on Kansas. His love of humanity is a natural outcome of his upbringing, because we, as a species, are all he has ever known. Ultraman, on the other hand, has seen countless peoples and civilizations. He comes from a near-perfect society of near-perfect people. He sees all our faults in stark contrast to our heritage, but still chooses to love us. He still calls us special, and fights for a future where we can join his people in the stars. His love of humanity is not the natural result of his upbringing, but earned through his service. To me, this is even more meaningful than the love of someone who is just like us, but stronger. So, did I convince you that Ultraman is the better superhero? Let me know in the comments.